Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to The Horror Within Me, a podcast dedicated to the world of horror. I am your host, Eric, and each week I'm going to rate and review a movie within the world of horror. Now, this is a show for horror fans, hosted by a fellow horror fan who's just here to share my experiences and my opinions with all of you in hopes that you gain something new to watch, or maybe not watch, and really just talk about all things related to this spooky, beautiful world that we call horror. So, if this sounds like the show for you, stick around and hit that subscribe button on your way out. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Spooky Sunday episode of The Horror Within Me. I'm your host, Eric, and this week's episode, we are finally going to be reviewing the brand new film, Scream 6. I know. There was no new episode last weekend. I did put a disclaimer out there that there may or may not have been, and unfortunately it was a busier. I didn't anticipate how busy my weekend was actually going to be, the opening weekend of Scream 6, and so it unfortunately I was unable to record in the time that I had. I also didn't want to take away time from my family that was visiting, but we're here now. It's been a week, which is also nice because it gave me time to digest the film, gave me time to think about what I liked, what I didn't like, and give you guys a solid review along with the top 3 best and worst reviews that I found on IMDb. Gave it a little time to simmer because it is brand new, and I'm sure that there are reviews galore on every platform from your favorite people. I hope that I'm one of them, and I hope that this does not disappoint. Before we get started, speaking of last weekend, it was just one of the best weekends I've had in a really long time. So my sister Heather came with her daughter Anaya, big horror fans. They spent the night Friday night, and we went to Monster Mania Con in Cherry Hill on Saturday, which was beyond amazing. I got to meet the wonderful, beautiful, and talented Rose McGowan. She signed a picture of her in Charmed, and also we got a photo, me and my husband did. And I also met Holly Marie Combs, who plays Piper on Charmed, who was also just as beautiful, talented, and just amazing human being. They both talked to us for briefly. I was very busy for them, but they still made that connection. And it was really just beyond describing what it was like. I don't know if I mentioned this on the show or not, but my husband and I are currently watching Charmed. I've seen the series. He has not. We are just finished season 5 a couple weeks ago, but with me working full and part-time jobs right now, it's really difficult for us to find a lot of time together to continue watching, but we are watching. So we're going to finish it. We have 6, 7, and 8 left. Very excited for that. So very exciting. Yeah, so we went to Monster Mania Con, and then directly after Monster Mania Con, we went right to see Scream 6 at our local theater, which they had these really cool, Scream 6 cups that were different than the Cinemark ones, which, by the way, I pre-ordered every fucking thing that Cinemark had. I got the plushie, popcorn bucket, and the 2-pack of the cups, all of it. And then when I seen the damn plushie or the cups from the AMC, my local AMC, that was even fucking more amazing. So much Scream 6 shit. I got so much other shit at Monster Mania. I got this beautiful hat, if you can see it. It's one of my favorite lines, and it had me cracking up from the original Scream with Stu. I thought it was only fitting to have him be a part of my review. For those of you, that are been going, gung-ho for Stu Macher. So he's at least a part of this review with me. What else did I get? So I got this big map over here, which you can't see, but I have all this stuff that I've taken pictures, and I'll probably take better pictures of different things on the social channels, but it's a map of Haddonfield with all of the people that were murdered by Michael Myers from 1978 to 2002. So the only people that aren't on this map are the people from the newest David Gordon Green trilogy and the Rob Zombie films. But it's so fucking cool. I had a couple people reach out to me asking where I got it. The vendor was super nice. I forgot my fucking business cards with the podcast. Who does that? What an amateur move, right? But he took a picture of the podcast logo, so maybe he's listening. If you are, everyone loves your fucking maps. It's not just Haddonfield. He had Crystal Lake. He had Stephen King things, and he has an Etsy page, which I don't remember off the top of my head, but DM me and I'll send you what his Etsy page, and hopefully you get, this is not any partnership or anything. It's just one horror fan and collector to the next, just sharing the love. But anyway, I got a Living Dead doll, Sadie, who I used to have when I was a teenager, and I didn't have her anymore. My sister actually bought her for me, and it was actually it really is sentimental to me, and just amazing. And I'll probably do a short video on that on the social channel. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. I got these really cool coasters over here on the game shelf. One is, it's the Nintendo cartridges, but they're like coasters, they're flat, but it's the designs. It's the original Super Mario, because obviously I'm a gamer too. But then it's the Nightmare on Elm Street and the Friday the 13th games. And I was like, oh my God, this is so fucking cool. For those who know, those were the fucking best things at the time. I love it so much. I love those. What else did I get? I don't know what else I got. I got a bunch of shit. Anyway, super fun time at Monster Mania Con. There was a lot of other people there. I didn't, unfortunately, get to go into the Terrifier 2 room with all of the people from Terrifier 2, which I am disappointed about because I was really looking forward to meeting them. But I was in line for Rose McGowan for 2 hours, maybe more. And like, as soon as she signed my photo and took our picture, we had to go to the movies because we had 2:00 Scream 6 tickets, because I honestly didn't anticipate needing to be there that long. I ran, like, in August when I was there, like, we were in and out, but this was a much different experience. And I think the next one in Cherry Hill is the weekend of August 4th, 5th, and 6th. No guest announcements yet, but depending on what's going on, I probably will go back. The tickets are not that expensive, and I need to not keep planning things on the days that I have fucking Monster Mania Con. Last time in August, it was my birthday weekend, so I had Monster Mania and the arcade. This time I had Monster Mania and Scream 6. Like, I haven't learned my lesson on to stop fucking planning things the same day as Monster Mania Con and just make a fucking day out of it. But my rant is over, and we're going to talk about what we're here for, which is a Scream 6 spoiler-free review. I needed to preface that because I hate when fucking people spoil brand new movies, especially the Scream movies. Don't ruin it for the rest of us. Like, I couldn't go till Saturday, and I was terrified that I was going to get spoilers on social media because of some fucking asshole. But I didn't. So we're going to jump right in. We're going to do what we always do. So it is time for the Scream 6 review on The Horror Within Me with me, your host, Eric. Ready? I don't know why I keep flailing my arms around like this. I'm just very energetic. I just finished a workout on my Peloton, and I'm just full of energy. Jumping in. The synopsis for Scream 6 on IMDb is as follows. In the next installment, the survivors of the Ghostface killings leave Woodsboro behind and start a fresh chapter in New York City. Scream 6 stars Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers, Melissa Barrera as Sam Carpenter, Janet Ortega as Tara Carpenter, Jasmine Savoy Brown as Mindy Meeks Martin, Mason Gooding as Chad Meeks Martin, Dermot Mulroney as Detective Bailey, Jack Champion as Ethan Landry, Josh Segarra as Danny Brackett, Liana Liberato as Quinn Bailey, Devin Nakota as Anika Kayako, and Hayden Panettiere as Kirby Reed. There's a lot of fucking great people in this film. Directed by Matt Bentalini Open and Tyler Gillette. Producer William Sherrick, James Vanderbilt, and Paul Neinstein. Writers were James Vanderbilt, Guy Busiek, and Kevin Williamson. Characters were based off of Kevin Williamson. It has an R rating with a runtime of 2 hours and 2 minutes, and the genre on IMDb was horror, mystery, and thriller. There is a tagline for Scream 6, which is, you probably already heard it if you haven't, New York, New Rules. Very inventive. And the IMDb rating is a 7.3 out of 10. So there we go on paper. Very interesting. It's a longer movie. I was surprised that it hit over 2 hours, but it was worth every minute of it. It really was. It was an interesting, little interesting of an opening. I think a very original opening, because the Scream movies are known for their openings since the very first iconic one with Drew Barrymore, where they turned around and killed Casey Becker quickly. It's started this whole trend of things. And then we had Scream 2 with Jada Pinkett, which I love that opening in the horror movie, like where we get introduced to the Stab franchise and this whole world of making movies out of real life incidents, which is terrible, but what Hollywood does. And the people thinking it's a stunt and she's murdered in front of all these people in the movie theater. Our iconic opening. Scream 3, we lose Cotton Weary, which wasn't as an iconic opening as so much as killing off another quote unquote like main character of the franchise. He had a pivotal part in the Scream movies from Scream 1, even though he was only seen in a video television in that one. Scream 2 and 3. Scream 4's opening was so much fucking fun with the different stab openings over and over again. And then we get to ours. I thought that one was a lot of fun. Scream 5's opening was another iconic twist where we meet Tara and we assume like she's dead, but she survived. And that has not happened before either. And not only did she survive, she became a final girl of the new cast with her sister Sam. So Scream 6's opening reinvents the way Scream does their opening scene again too. And I thought it was a lot of fun. And I'm trying really hard not to like spoil anything because it's just a lot of fun. So I love the openings. And before we move on, I think it's just time we do this week's terrifying trivia question. So I was thinking, what do we do for terrifying trivia for Scream? I don't want to do a question related to Scream 6 because if you're listening or watching this and haven't seen it, you're not going to answer it. So I was thinking of all the different Screams and the universe and things like that, and it hit me. Bam! I don't know why I'm doing that. Here's the question. This week's terrifying trivia question is this. Ghostface is inspired by what real-life serial killer? Again, the question is, Ghostface is inspired by what real-life serial killer? Stick around to the end of this episode to get the answer. All right, guys, it is time. It is time for the top 3 best reviews on IMDb. It was difficult to try and like avoid the spoiler reviews. So I think I picked some good ones for you guys. So the first review is titled The Best Scream Sequel. Here's a review. By far the scariest and most intense Scream installment since the first one. Great character development and incredible performances from everyone involved. Sam's character led the film very strongly, and the entire core 4 group made for a very likable and compelling protagonist. The New York City location was a great choice. The writing and directing was strong, awesome camera work throughout, and cool sound design. Along with having probably one of the best chase scenes in the whole franchise involving Gale and Ghostface, I was left on the edge of my seat the whole time. A must-see in theaters. A very solid review from this person. I have very little critiques on what I would say and agree and don't, or what I don't agree with this. I think for them saying the scariest and most intense Scream since the first one, I wouldn't give it number 2 spot. I wouldn't go that far, but I agree. Great character development, like really solid character development. The entire 4, yes, very likable, very, very likable. I loved the New York City fucking atmosphere. I'm telling you, like when I first heard New York, I have a bias because it automatically took me way back to the 80s with Jason Takes Manhattan. And I don't know why. I knew it was not going to be that, and it isn't that. If anyone, I'm going to just put that to sleep for you now. It is not a Jason Takes Manhattan kind of film. It's not just dropping Ghostface in New York and it doesn't make sense the way we did Jason. It's not that. It is well integrated and makes a lot of sense on how they did it. And I thought it was just an amazing location. What do we see? One of the best chase scenes in the whole franchise involving Gale and Ghostface. Abso-fucking-lutely. That scene was amazing. It is everything that you want in a horror movie and everything you want in a Scream horror movie chase scene. It takes me back to the Gale Ghostface scene in Scream 2. It was just so well done, and that's how I'm going to leave that. A must see in theaters, absolutely. If you can, see it in the theater. I know we live in this age where the theater life of a movie is like quick, short lived, and then it's like released on digital on demand within like a month. And it's probably just as fun to watch in home, but it's a great theater experience, and I think it's one worthy of the money to spend to go and see it. Especially if you're going to find some merchandise, go get it. Moving on to the next best review, titled "The Thrill of the Original." A slasher movie where the protagonists are not afraid to fight back. This movie proves that original is and will always be the blueprint, and that its charm will never be over. Scream 6 is right up there. It's not afraid to go after different plots while always keeping the mystery of the franchise. The killers are somewhat predictable, but the film manages to brush through all that since the audience is redeemed through the chases and killings, all the thrill. All the slasher scenes leave the audience wanting more, and dare I say, this is one of the few Scream movies that the protagonists are more invested into killing Ghostface rather than finding out who he is. Not to be missed. Courtney Cox smashes it in this movie. And the latter scene, brilliant. Great review again. I picked this review because of the one specific part where it says Courtney Cox smashes it in this movie. Courtney Cox delivered, people. Like, this was Gale Weathers at her motherfucking best again. I don't know what they did to Gale Weathers in Scream 5, but this was my Gale Weathers. I loved her in this. She did so fucking good in this movie. What else are we seeing? Yes, also one of the few Screams where the protagonists are more invested into killing Ghostface. They're just over it, bitch. They ain't got time. This is not the 90s, early 2000s where they're, I'm scared. They're like, nope, we're going to knock this the fuck out. We're going to take it. We're going to take the lead on this because we're not no fucking punk. You're going to come for me. We're going to come back for you. Very well done. It's very fresh. I like it a lot. Killers, some are predictable. It's kind of hard to not start to predict certain things within Scream when you have a lot of returning cast members and a lot of new cast members. I feel like, without a spoiler, there's only like so many people that you can try to start thinking of who the killer is. What I will say is, whether you pick a character or not that you think the killer is, you won't pick out the motive. I think that's what is the best fun part of the Scream movies. It's really hard to figure out the motives of the Ghostface killers. So, great review. Moving on to the last best review from IMDb. It's titled, Lord Have Mercy, Yes. I just wanted to say it like that. It has got a lot of exclamation points, like 4 anyway. So, last review says, this franchise just keeps getting better and better. There was so much mutilation and gore, but it felt like it all tied all of the movie together. I have always thought Scream could never be good without Sidney, but this movie absolutely proved me wrong. I love that Ghostface was not afraid to kill or injure in public places full of people. There is no fear of getting caught because the killer knows people in New York will always mind their own business even if someone is hurt or dying. It's crazy ridiculous, but it makes for an awesome slasher film. I cannot get over how freaking awesome this movie is. Absolutely. Absolutely. I just, there is a lot of mutilation and gore, but not like Terrifier 2 bedroom scene. Not that. But it is great. It is so well done. And agree. I have always thought Scream could never be good without Sidney, but this movie proved me wrong. And I agree. I dare I say it, and I don't mean any disrespect. Please don't come for me. I am a Sidney stan. I didn't miss her. I didn't miss her in it. The storyline and the plot was so well done around the newer characters that we didn't need her. She is mentioned, I'll say that, quite a few times. Her presence is still there. There's things about her, but it's done well. I thought it was done well on how they handled the absence of Sidney Prescott. And actually, there was a line in the movie in the beginning when it's, it isn't something where they don't just mention anything about her. It is literally something I have said in a TikTok about it that was said in the movie, which made me feel great because I'm like, great, they also think the same thing. So I thought it was a great movie, even without Sidney. And that's no disrespect towards Sidney Prescott or Nev Campbell. Would I have loved her to be in it? Yes, as long as she survived, because one of my biggest things is, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, don't ever kill Sidney Prescott. If you're going to bring her back, like, she has to live, because it's not fair to that character at this point. But anyway, very well done. And the whole thing of killing or injuring in public places is terrifying. And there is a scene on the subway with people. And it made me think of this story where the lady was in real life was raped on the subway and nobody did anything. There's people there. Like, this is real. Like, it's not, it says like this might, it's crazy ridiculous, but makes for an awesome slasher film. It's not really ridiculous. People are minding their fucking business. It is very, like, even anywhere you see all these people where we watch these real videos of fighting and arguing and people not doing anything or intervening and only using their phones to record it. That's the only thing that I think was missing is nobody fucking recorded it. That would have just made it even more realistic, but they made it so that nobody was like, paying attention, whatever. But it was just crazy good. I think these 3 reviews depict the movie beautifully. Now it's time for the top 3 worst reviews on IMDb, because there's no fucking way that everyone in the United States and the world loved this movie. So we're going to find the people that didn't and talk shit about it. Here we go. Titled, Total Idiocy. Wow. Just wow. I didn't expect anything good after seeing Scream 5, but not even my low expectations were met. I can honestly confess that I watched this film for free. This is a small consolation, at least. People who keep piggybacking famous franchises and turning them into this sort of rubbish don't deserve a penny of my money. The only moderately interesting character is Sam, and I'm being generous by saying the word interesting. Seeing and hearing the character called Mindy is like scraping a blade over a chalkboard every time she appears on screen. I'm not even surprised they had to force her into this part as well. The villains are so badly written and portrayed, it hurts. Where have all the talented people gone? What the fuck? First of all, what do you mean? I can honestly confess that I watched this film for free. Where? How? What did you do? We're sending people to you. That has nothing to do with this fucking review. Are you just trying to flex? That's not a flex that you scammed the money. Like, you had no idea what you were going into. So even if it was great, you didn't support the many, many, many people that went into making this movie. You are a cheap bastard. Anyway, people who keep piggybacking famous franchises and turn them into this sort of rubbish don't deserve a penny of my money. But people like you who keep piggybacking into theaters for free are the reason things keep going the fuck up in price. Anyway, the only moderately interesting character is Sam. Lies. I thought Sam was amazing. And this is coming from me, who I was not the biggest fan of Scream 5 at all. I liked the concept. I think that they did the legacy characters all wrong in Scream 5. I didn't like Tara or Sam. I didn't connect with either one of them. And I'm a fan of both the actresses, but no, I wasn't a fan of Scream 5. But Scream 6 is Sam and Tara, and especially Sam. Like, I'm a huge fan, and I love the characters now. Like, I really connected with them in this, and I thought that they did very well. And then to go after Mindy. Mindy's one of my favorite people. I don't know if it's because she's like the movie buff, and I think that would be me if I was in a Scream movie. Obviously, I'd be the gay guy with the podcast doing fucking horror reviews, probably like this. And you see the ghost face behind me with like Michael. It would probably really be him, and I'd be killed on fucking YouTube or something. Scream 7. I want to be the opening scene. This guy or girl or whatever, just, I don't know what you watched, or if you didn't think you were going to see anything good after Scream 5, why go see Scream 6? This is what I say every week when we do a review, when they compare it to the franchise and you didn't like it. Stop wasting your time then. Move on. There's enough fans who would like it. We don't need you or your fucking opinion. I do a little bit because it makes for good listening on the podcast, but other than that, go fuck yourself. Second worst review on IMDb, titled Dreadful. Scream needs to be put down once and for all. The acting is terrible, and I still cannot understand how grown adults still get creeped out from a teenager in a ghost face mask. Scream 1 in the 90s is where the movie should have ended. Instead, they keep pushing more and more each year. There are much better slashers out there that you should check out. All I think about when I see the new Scream coming out is my local dollar store selling the mask for $6 and the cape. The movie is utter trash. They keep trying to come up with different plots and twists, but it's way too predictable. Please end this already. There's a lot with this review that I need to say. Opening line: Scream needs to be put down once and for all, like it's a fucking animal or something. I hope you have no animals, because Jesus, where's the mercy? Or whatever. Fuck it. The acting is terrible. It's not. It's not. At all. I don't understand how grown adults get creeped out from a teenager in a ghost face mask. First of all, we don't know who's in the ghost face mask when we meet Ghostface in every fucking film. And somebody in any fucking mask or costume but trying to murder you is terrifying. Okay, how many times are you going to walk around and somebody is going to attack you? This is why you wouldn't survive, because you think you can take on the world. You'd be the stupid dumbass that tries to fight back and get your fucking guts spilled on the ground. Don't do it. This is where my math is messed up, and maybe somebody can explain this to me. When I see a new Scream coming out, I think about local dollar store selling the mask for $6 and the cape. Your dollar store sells things for $6? Isn't it supposed to be $1 if it's a dollar store? I'm confused on what that means, because anything other than a dollar store is just a different kind of store, like a Walmart or maybe Dollar General, but that's not what you called it. You called it a dollar store, and they don't wear a cape. They wear like a fucking pullover thing, cloaky fucking thing. It's not a cape. Cape is one side, only on your back, around your neck, and that's it. There's no front. So it's not a cape. Not a cape. Clearly, you are completely misunderstanding the entire franchise of what the fuck even the killer's wearing. Stop watching them then. Clearly, you're not a fan, and if you're going to write a fucking review on a movie, know what the fuck you're talking about. As simple as what the fucking goddamn killer wears. Anyway, time for the last worst review on IMDb, titled, this is really original, ready? It's titled, Franchise Should End. Okay. The overall experience of the movie was undoubtedly disappointing. While the intro managed to create some level of anticipation, the rest of the movie was far from living up to it. The script failed to deliver an engaging story, and the characters lacked the depth required to make the audience invest in their journey. The main actress, in particular, failed to bring any life to her character, and her performance felt emotionless and dull. It was difficult to see the purpose of the movie without the presence of the original lead character, Sydney. Her absence made the movie feel pointless, and it would have been better to have paid the actress, Neve Campbell, for her worth to have her return to the franchise. Moreover, the lack of effort put into de-aging Billy, one of the original characters, was noticeable. The actor is over 50, and it was challenging to believe he was playing his 20-something self. It would have been beneficial to invest more in special effects to create a more convincing and immersive experience. What the fuck are you talking about? The intro managed to create a level of anticipation. It did. That's the nicest thing that you said. but it didn't fail to deliver an engaging story. They didn't lack depth, and Sam did an amazing. The actress that did Melissa did an amazing performance as Sam. It was definitely. I don't know what movie you watched, dude, or whatever. It wasn't hard to see the purpose of the movie without Sydney. It wasn't difficult at all. I knew right the fuck away what the purpose of the movie was. Not the motive of the killer or who the killer was, but I understood what the fucking movie was about. I fully understood that within the first fucking beginning in the first act of the movie. I don't know why you missed that. Yeah, it would have been good to pay the actress so she could still be in it. Absolutely, because she is the face of the franchise, but it wasn't lacking without her, and it didn't feel like it was worthless or pointless. I think that you're just mad. But that's fine. You're allowed to be mad. Spoiler alert, I guess the only spoiler alert is that we've seen Scream 5. You know Sam sometimes see Billy. It's very less in this movie, but I think he looks fine. In the scene I've seen him in. Looked the same to me. I think they did an amazing job on that. And dumbass, he wasn't playing a 20-something self. He was like 17, 18 when he was killed in Scream. They were in fucking high school. So he wasn't playing a 20-something something anyway. Get your fucking age together. I think they did just fine with the special effects. It's reviewers like this that I feel like just say things because they're just pissed off and they don't digest what they watch and then like want to write a review purely on emotions, which is fine because then I get to like read their reviews and respond purely on emotion, and it's a lot of fun because it makes me happy to like talk shit. Because why the fuck not? You're coming from people's work and you're wrong too. So I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and don't come for me saying people are allowed to like and not like. I agree, you are, but you're bashing this hard work. Don't like it, don't like it. You're whatever. Anyway, that is the end of the top 3 best and worst reviews on IMDb for Scream 6. Time to move on to what I liked most about the movie. I sat and I thought, I'm like, okay, what do I really, really like about Scream 6? And the thing that kept coming to my mind was the Gale and Ghostface scene. Again, I can't get into a lot of specifics, but I really liked that scene a lot. Also, secondly, if I'm going to add something else, I really, really, really liked the Ghostface shrine. As like a fucking horror geek, oh my god, I was just living for all the little fucking things they had throughout that whole thing. The pictures of it online and the little things of that. The shrine is amazing in the movie. Like when they get to it, so I loved it. That's what I liked the most. The callbacks to all of it was so fucking well done. What I liked the least, I had a hard time coming up with what I liked the least. So I landed on one thing. It was a character. What I liked at least was Josh Segarra's character of Danny. I thought he was fine in the movie. I thought he did a good job. I'm not going to say much about it because if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to say anything. It's just if I had to pick anything, it was his character that I liked the least. Just didn't. I just didn't. So that was it. Before we get into the rating system and my final review, it is time to answer this week's terrifying trivia question. And I want to know if you got it right. And nobody ever tells me, so I never know. But anyway, fucking tell me if you got it right or not. I'm yelling at everybody today. This week's terrifying trivia question was, Ghostface is inspired by what real-life serial killer? And the answer is the Gainesville Ripper. It was in Florida. I think he murdered 5 people. And look it up and check it out if you don't know what it's about, because this is not a true crime podcast. This is a horror movie review podcast. But if you want me to start a true crime podcast, I have an idea for one. So let me know if I should start a second one on top of my already busy fucking schedule. Anyway, let's do the rating. Scream 6. We're going to do phones, cell phones, cordless phones, wall phones, rotary phones, whatever fucking kind of phone you want to think of and picture in your brain. That's what we're using. And I gave Scream 6 an 8 out of 10 phones. My final review is a little bit long, but I really wanted to hit the specific parts that I wanted to hit. So it is time for my final review. Scream 6 managed to do something very few other franchises could do, and that is make a better movie than the one before. Although this is the first movie without the main franchise character Sidney Prescott, there's a feeling of content knowing her character got a happy ending in a genre where very few returning characters do. Courtney Cox's Gale Weathers, now the only character to appear in all 6 films, still gives us the same ruthless reporter we met in the first while being able to integrate into the new cast members. The return of fan favorite Kirby Reed felt a bit forced and her backstory was a bit off, but a definite welcomed addition to the film. Sam, Tara, Mindy, and Chad, our core 4, are more developed, likable, and relatable characters this time around, and the New York setting is a perfect change of scenery that only intensifies the horror. We get the suspense and chase scenes the previous entries began to lose, and that is why Scream 6 has earned its ranking as the second best sequel in the franchise aside from Scream 2. And where can you see Scream 6 right now? Scream 6 is playing probably at a theater near you, so go get your tickets and check it out. And that concludes this week's episode. It is St. Patrick's Day weekend, so happy St. Patrick's Day weekend, everybody. That was a few days ago, but enjoy it. Drink a green beer while you're listening. Watch Leprechaun after Scream 6 because next week we will be doing the review on the first Leprechaun movie in honor of St. Patrick's Day because I missed it this weekend, but I'm still going to do it because it's one of my favorite movies as well. But anyway, enjoy the rest of your week and weekend, everybody. Bye. For more Horror Within Me content, visit my link tree at linktr.ee/horrorwithinme